responsible for that are on the warrant. We have some minutes to adopt from last week's meeting, and I also would like to discuss the new schedule, just briefly, the new schedule for the Citizens Academy, to see if people who asked to do something can't do it now, or whatever. Michael and Joyce aren't here, and so I won't get into too deep on that. But anyways, I'd like to ask Carol to join us first to discuss Article 5. Yes, an updated to your fee schedule. I gave you guys a handout that Carol prepared on current, proposed, and then the clean version is on the back with some notations. I have one additional handout. If you'd like it.
You can
Oh,
have it.
she's got. Okay.
Yeah, Carol, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Just did a dance.
Can you email this to us too?
Sure.
Me? And I'll forward it to. Yep. Okay.
Absolutely.
Carol, it's. I think you and I discussed it. If you'd like to explain what you're proposing here.
So it's pretty basic. The fee schedule hasn't been gone over in quite a number of years. As you can see, there's some things on here like residence list on disk. I don't know that we even have a computer in town hall that can produce a disk at this point. So I just wanted to clean it up. Bylaws and regulations, all of that's available on the website now. You can see the top section is the current fee set schedule. The next one down is the adjustments we're going to make. And then, like Dave said, the clean fee schedule's on the back. I noted the MGL that allows us to charge for it. I did my research. I polled the other towns in the area. We're pretty right in line with costs, so I don't really recommend raising any of our fees, like certified copies and stuff. The one thing that we are raising, and this was also per vote of the Board of Registrars, is the street list book. We've been charging $10 for it. Our cost is now $21.75 per book.
Okay.
That's not a wise business decision, so
No.
we're going to raise it to $25. I've cut down on the number that I order. Nobody really even asks for them anymore.
May I ask what it is exactly?
So after the census is done, I'm required by law to have composed into a book everybody that answered the census. It has their names, their address, their precinct. It's all in, and we, jokingly call it the nosy book. It's a lot of the realtors ask for it.
Yep. That's why I keep
they're
getting
about the
mail.
only ones that'll even ask for it anymore.
Right.
But I'm required by law to produce it. So
Okay. And
There we have it.
how many do you do a year? I'm just curious.
I get 25.
And do you sell them every year? Or?
No, gosh, no. Most of all the offices get them.
Okay.
Police station, DPW. So all the town offices have them. I may sell one or two a year. There are people.
To citizens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. So the back will just be the cleaned up fee schedule and what'll still be left on it. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I have a question, but I defer to members if anyone's got a question. Rob?
Yep, it's not very material. What's the 11 by 17 book that has every lot on it?
Oh, that's up in the assessor's office.
Okay, so that's not you guys.
No.
That's the
No, that's
assessors
not me.
produce.
These are just stuff that is issued, sold out of my office.
Anybody else? Jonathan?
Yeah, some things that are struck, like the voter activity report and the voter list. So I understand we can't necessarily produce it on disk in the way that it was mentioned, but are we still obligated to provide?
Oh, sure, and it all falls under the public records law, basically now.
Right.
So they ask for it, they get it emailed for free.
Okay, so, and the same for residence list, like all of the things
Yeah.
like that. So, just out of curiosity, is there gatekeeping necessary where we have to vet who requests it as opposed to just
No.
publishing these types of things on the website?
No. So on the website, what, like the street list on the website?
And any of the publicly available documents, just in terms of if they're publicly available,
So-
why spend the time to
Like the
field a
voters-
request, to send it out an email, just publish it and be done with it, and people can self-service.
So there actually has been, clerks have asked that about putting the street list onto the website. And the state, there's no law that says we can't, but they don't recommend it. I don't know why. I can find an answer to that and get back to you, absolutely.
Okay.
But and as far as like voters lists, that changes on a daily basis. I register probably, I can register 2 to 20 voters a day, so we'd have to update it daily. We just give it to people when they need it, or when they ask for it, that's all.
Okay,
And it's usually, and like I said, it's usually through email, so there's no charge to it.
okay. And the same for the street listing book? I know
The
you
street
said
listing
it's a
book is what I was
requirement-
just talking
It's
about.
a requirement that we produce it, but is it a requirement we produce a physical copy?
That, the Mass General Law, and I'd actually could pull up the law. I think there is a requirement that we do. Let me pull up the law real quick, sorry.
Just got them bookmarked.
Yeah, it says printed,
Okay.
typed or
Yeah.
mimeographed.
Yep. Oh, thanks, Rob's faster than me. Yeah, and that's in the Mass General Law, that, Mass General Law, Chapter 51, Section 6.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Kevin?
High level, how much revenue annually is generated by your office with the fees listed here?
Not a lot. Most of it's through dog licensing, and that's already in our bylaws, the cost for that. And then the second would be certified copies, birth, death, marriage.
I just want to try
Those
to
are the
put it into
primary.
scale for everybody, because I know there are some people who are going to say, wow, we're going up by 200% on one of these items. We're going to have extra revenue in town, where now we can
No,
fund
we're not.
positions. No,
A
this is
run
a
on
very,
street
very,
listing.
very small, not to minimize the work, because I know the work is very important, but it is a very, very, very small portion of the revenue coming into town.
That I
So
bring
it's
into
not-
town.
so
Yeah,
it's
no.
not this
The town clerk's
groundbreaking
office
thing.
doesn't bring a lot. It's my office is more
Services
executive
oriented.
and service-oriented as it is to sales. I mean, so we would make, let's see, by increasing this by 200%, we're going, if we sell one, we're going to make $3.25.
As opposed to losing,
Budget breaker.
You're
If I
plus
could do the math.
15.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
I just want to put it into scale so that
Yeah,
people
yeah,
understand
no,
what these
my
changes
office
are.
isn't a big revenue generator.
Thank you.
and in a similar vein, but also violating my ninth inning rule, what kind of genealogy research does the clerk's office do for people?
So we do get people that are tracing family trees,
Right.
and we have to, go back into the big handwritten books and look for a death or a birth.
Right. Okay.
And we produce a certificate for them, which we do sell for $10, because I don't release anything that isn't certified. But yeah, sometimes it can take, some time
Yeah,
to
I
just,
bet.
leafing
Okay.
through, because a lot of people, they know, well, I know my great-grandfather lived in City Mills, and so now you're
Right.
reading down, and so it does happen,
Cool, thank you.
certainly.
Anyone else? Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
You too. Rich, would you like to join us?
I do have a friend.
You have a friend? I have several friends.
Well, I mean, I do have some friends, but Sue Jacobson slid me on the topic, so.
Pull a chair up around the corner.
Yeah.
I should say, I think I have several friends. That was kind of a bold statement on my part, wasn't it? Welcome.
Thank you.
So the planning board has a number of articles proposed for
Oh, sure, yes.
upcoming, I think we start at
12.
number
11.
11, which is It's accepting a portion of MacArthur Avenue is the first one. What's going on there?
The Hunter Ave,
Can you orient me a little bit? Because I don't even know where Hunter Ave is.
Oh.
MacArthur.
so Populatic Pond,
Yep.
at the top of the Populatic Pond
Yep.
on the hillside, MacArthur Ave more or less runs parallel to it. And then Hunter Ave bisects it. At the intersection of Hunter Ave and MacArthur Ave, which MacArthur Ave is a paper street. It was created back in, I think, 1945, 46. And there were land court lots. A developer came before the planning board for a roadway improvement plan to construct a single-family home on the lots that are on the portion of MacArthur Ave. In order to do that, under the zoning bylaw, you need to have physical access. So he had made roadway improvements to provide access to the lot abutting MacArthur Ave. In this instance, because Hunter Ave just dives right into MacArthur Ave, the planning board, with discussions with DPW, would want to have that portion accepted as a public way of that, just a small portion of MacArthur Ave, so that way when you drive up MacArthur Ave, you can turn around and come back in terms of any vehicle, and then also for DPW, again, to be able to remove snow.
Okay.
So we're accepting that portion of it. It's just that one small portion of it, so. It is a, like I mentioned to you, it's land court land.
Yep.
In terms of the way the land was divided out over the years, the developer doesn't own completely the interest within the fee of MacArthur Ave. So the process we do have to go through is to take that portion by eminent domain.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than a typical roadway acceptance that we normally have. Prior to getting to this point, we had a title report done, identified whoever had an interest in MacArthur Ave, that portion. I sent them out a letter ahead of time to say, look, there's intent to accept this portion of MacArthur Ave. In so doing, we don't want to pay damages. We want to be able to do this for de minimis cost. If you are unwilling to waive your damages, because we're doing through eminent domain, we essentially want to know now, because we may not be able to go forward.
Right.
The folks that I sent it to, I heard back from them. They were okay, they understood what was going on, and the intent to waive damages. That happens post-acceptance process. Things could change, but at least to this point, they're willing to waive damages.
So the reference to a fee simple interest, is this a gift that's coming from what's the actual, you're taking it?
We're taking it.
But
yeah.
will there be,
The gift is that so-called, the improvements were done by the developer, so we're not,
so in
we're
other
not,
words,
we're not doing.
that was my next question.
Yeah.
There's no improvements the town's going to be responsible.
No, they're already done. It's in place, the road's there, the water's there, et cetera. We're just accepting what's been
And the only
constructed on the ground.
potential cost to the town would be if people,
If they decide that they don't want to waive damages,
Right.
yeah.
these damages are increased traffic? What are they? I mean,
No, monetary damages, money,
Price of the land.
yeah.
that they
The interest in
putatively own.
the road. Which I would,
although there's a right-of-way on it.
yeah, I would expect, well, I shouldn't say, that's dangerous to say that, but de minimis amount of money that
Right.
they would.
Because the right-of-way has been there for,
The bigger cost to us potentially, if they don't want to waive damage, is to have to hire an appraiser to come up with some de minimis amount of money. That's
Right.
probably where we'd be more upside down in terms of the appraisal cost versus the actual damage cost, if you will.
and how much,
Appraiser?
yeah, no. How many abutters are there? Or potential?
I think there's 13 that are on the list. Yeah.
All of which have direct access, they're directly above the, okay, it's
Yeah.
not like 100 feet thing.
No, they abut it. Like some of them, for instance, they have a home, but it's down on Lakeshore Drive.
Right.
You know, that And then, for instance, there's someone that has a home on Hunter Ave, but their property wraps around and then fronts on MacArthur Ave.
13 properties on that small a piece of,
Yeah, it's,
Is this
well,
not-
we had to do the whole entire length of MacArthur Ave, not just that section. So it goes from up to from Hunter all the way down to Lakeshore Drive.
Does anyone else have any questions? Rob's pondering one because he's looking
Good
at the
question.
map right now, so.
Got a map.
it just doesn't look like a very long piece of road.
No, it's not.
All right. Thank you. Number 12. Sorry, this thing went to sleep on me, of course. Is the Open Space Revolving Fund.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, I would hope. It's really an accounting.
Yep.
So that the planning board over the years has collected open space maintenance fees
Yep.
as part of the open space developments that have been built over the years. Those monies have been put into, they're in a bank account presently, but in order to expend that money out of that account, it needs to be through a revolving fund.
Yep.
So the purpose is to establish that account, so going forward, when we want maintenance that may come up, we can use that money to pay for those expenses.
And the cap is a $40,000 cap. Can you do you know what's in this bank account right now?
It's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
This would be $40,000 a year, essentially, right?
yeah, a year. It's kind of self-limiting by having the 40,000.
I have a bunch of questions on this, so if anyone else has
Wow,
questions. Sorry, it's
All right.
my Conservation Commission membership that's driving a lot of this stuff back,
Oh, okay.
back in the day.
All right.
So a lot of this land is under the control of the Conservation Commission. Some of it's under the control of the Selectmen, Select Board, sorry. Some of it,
Oh, well, there's, okay,
so
Yeah.
in the town,
yes,
much of the land that's open space is classified as open space, is under the control of the Conservation Commission.
yes.
Some of it isn't. Some of it's under the control of, I know that in open space subdivisions, there's been, the fee simple is taken by one thing and the restrictions taken by someone else, and it seems to be a little bit all over the place on that. So, I guess the question is are any town agencies eligible to use these funds for improvement to open space? Is it only open space that was created as part of a open space subdivision, or can it be used elsewhere?
I will need to get back to you on that question. I think
It would
the
be
money is,
interesting. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, I think the money is really would be targeted towards those developments that, open space that's
Right.
associated with those developments, not broadly
And can,
open space outside.
I know where you're going with that.
So for instance, there's, I don't know, pick an open space, I don't know.
Christina Estates, very familiar with it.
Christina Estates, all right,
I bought it.
yeah. So Christina Estates would be eligible,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
But the Lynn Farm, no.
The Lynn Farm, I would
Yeah.
probably argue no.
Okay. Can we get a list, and I don't need it now, can we get a list of the open space subdivisions that have land that's already been gifted to the town that would be eligible?
Sure, yeah, I can give you a
Great.
spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do have that.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else have any questions? Rob?
Just some drafting stuff. This may be in 4453E and a half, the chapter that they reference.
Yeah.
That governs this kind of thing. But I would think it'd be preferable to be very specific that this money is to be spent for open space, OSRDs or whatever we call them, that the money is generated from. So a developer puts money into said fund, he doesn't expect the money to go to Town Hill. He expects the money to go to that open space development, and so does everyone who lives there. So I would just think, for drafting purposes, it would be better if Article 12 said that. So some future board doesn't decide, well, I got to make a little extra money, let's go clean up this thing, instead of where it's supposed to go. And you got more than 40 grand, but you have an expenditure limit of 40 grand a year, so that doesn't matter that we have more than 40 grand in it. It's
No,
just
it
they can
doesn't.
only
No,
spend
I was
40.
curious as
Yeah.
much as anything else. I'd be
Yeah, it's
curious
a
if
good-
you can get us.
Yeah, I'll
that
get you
total
the
amount,
number.
yeah.
You raised kind of an interesting question because it may not necessarily be one for one, right? So, for instance, I may say the Christina Estates, I should ask council to think about this a little bit, because Christina Estates is one particular subdivision, but then I know like Bristol Pond Estates is another one.
Right.
And the maintenance requirements there might be greater than Christina Estates. which
Conceivably,
don't-
though.
But don't equal out so the money amount going in was a set number, it's 2,000 per lot. But the expense is over time per development may vary.
Really? So you could do a 10-acre, a 10-lot division with a lot of open space, and
Yeah, well, for instance,
it's
Mike.
inadequate to cover it, but.
Yeah,
and-
so
yeah.
if you want to drive around and get a sense of the, well, you know where Christine Estates is, right?
Where? Just kidding.
You're pretty familiar with that. Go over to Bristol Pond Estates,
Yeah.
drive in, and then drive out.
Yeah.
That whole center area, that's open space under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
That's a little more maintenance intensive than, trails through open woodland area that need some, so there's a variation. So I'm gonna have to ask about your question.
Rob?
Second question would be, is the planning board the right place to have the further expenditures generated from? Should it be the Concom? I mean, do we want to add this to the planning board's job that every year they got to sit there and hear from the Christina Estates people saying, hey, you guys got to mow this or fix this bench or some such thing, and maybe this is better as a Concom kind of issue?
Or another really good question. Yeah, let me ask, because the planning board, as we approach this, was the creator of the money, so,
Yeah.
but could it be
But operationally,
delegated? Huh?
operationally, you guys don't necessarily want to be responsible for this after you're done with the,
No.
when you sign
Yeah, we don't want to be done.
certificate.
I don't
you're
think
done.
conservation necessarily either, but anyway.
Well,
yeah.
no, I
But-
mean, I will say that one of the constant challenges of the Conservation Commission, and you know this, is that we constantly get, or you guys constantly get harassed for the state of some of the trails.
Yeah.
And some of the trails you can't do anything about if they're not part of an open space subdivision, but some of them,
Yeah.
if you can say, yeah, we can look at that and maybe we can budget some money to cleaning up the trail or whatever it might be. And they're gonna be more inclined to be interested in doing that.
Yeah,
on-
and it kind of is a two-headed monster to your point, because, so, again, Bristol Pines kind of like fresh in my mind. Should be in your mind too, but good call.
Is that my eye twitching?
Your eye twitching. It's
I'm learning to read Kevin's
that
eyes.
land
Start to
that,
twitch, I know.
if I had to go back in the time machine, that
Yeah.
wouldn't even be, anyway, but besides that, it's on the care and custody of the Conservation Commission.
Right,
But, the planning board's involved with it because this
Right.
money part, and,
You would think the word care would kind of indicate that maybe they should have the
yeah,
ability to.
yeah, I'll see, I'll talk to, maybe it can, or maybe it, yeah, maybe there's a different way of doing this. But So that's the sense of what that's about.
Does anyone else have any questions on that? Okay. Number 13 is the temporary home, mobile home question. I'm assuming most of this is in response to things like fires and major knockdown issues.
It is not.
So I'm wrong. That's just why you're here, Rich.
All right. Now, what you see before you, council is going to propose some recommendations. The planning board's going to have a public hearing
Yep.
on the 14th.
Yep.
There is some statutory language that we need to carry forward in terms of, so for natural disaster,
When you say statutory, you mean state statute? Okay.
State Zoning Act. Yeah, which is kind of interesting. So if you recall, we struck Holocaust a few years ago. You remember that? It sticks in my mind. That's still embedded in the state statute, believe it or not, which is kind of at some point you think they would try to fix that. But anyway, so we need to still keep that in there, because that, if somebody were a natural disaster, what did we say here? What did we change ours to? I lost my train of thought. Natural disaster. Oh, fire and natural disaster. We swapped out Holocaust for natural disaster. Which
It
passed
says
AAG, by the way.
wait.
It says
When you
Holocaust
said
in
that
statute.
initially, I missed. I thought you meant
Holocaust.
Holocaust.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Literally. Yes.
Really?
Yes. I said, what? Yes.
God-driven ones or man-made? I mean, it's like, never mind.
Don't go there.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
know,
not going there.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
So that's why we insert a natural disaster.
right.
So,
Yeah.
so the point is that for mobile homes, the
Yep.
statute provides protection for fire and natural disaster for up to 1 year.
Right.
Somebody to have on their property. What's being proposed that's on the top portion relative to 6 months is because what we are seeing, it's not a lot of them, but some people are voluntarily demoing a portion of their house and reconstructing. And with the energy code changes that are occurring, to be able to reside in your house while that is going on is not really feasible. And we had a couple of instances where people were cited for a zoning violation because they were in a recreational camper on their house lot, living there temporarily while the work was going on because they had kids. And were literally being essentially forced out of town. And here's a family who's got kids in the school. It's a family, they bought a home, they're reinvesting in it, they're improving the house. It wasn't, excuse me, habitable while that work was going on.
Did you say inhabitable?
Inhabitable,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So they were there, they got cited. Anyway, they're happily back in their home, which is wonderful.
So a mobile home would have been allowable under the old bylaw, but they weren't in a mobile
But
home.
not for that purpose, what they were doing, because they were volunteer.
Because they're doing a renovation. not a-
Renovation, yeah,
Holocaust also covers nuclear incident, apparently,
yeah.
according to
Thank you.
Merriam-Webster.
If we're still around, yeah.
I think this is the least of your problems.
Right. And then there was another gentleman, similarly, it was an old, probably camp property, I guess that's the best way to describe it, and they decided to remodel that, and again,
Turn it into a year-round.
a year-rounder, yeah, so that, the amount of work that was involved, he was in the RV there, he was
Right.
on the property.
Violating
the zoning, so, but the 6 month ties into the building permit, that's the thing.
I was about to say,
So you
6
have to have
months
the
is,
tie into a building permit, so this doesn't be like,
Yeah.
people are in mobile homes and RVs around town. And so that's why it's tied to 6 months and tied to a building permit.
All right. Does anyone have any questions on that one? All right.
You have any questions on the next?
I was just thinking, I thought maybe initially, maybe it was driven, is there any concern that as a result of, I don't know how hard it is to get a contractor to do a lot of this work. If you get a building permit and then you have a hard time getting someone to show up, is 6 months enough time?
Well, it's built in and you could get a renewal from the building.
Oh, it is, okay, all right, fine, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get it extended, so.
Okay.
I do have one
Yeah.
question. Forgive me, I forget the specifics of the ADU bylaw, but is a mobile home specifically not considered an ADU?
No,
It's not.
it's not.
So there's no overlap or risk of overlap between someone living in a mobile home under this and then them claiming it's an ADU and they're not subject to these limits?
ADU isn't, no.
Well, I know an ADU wouldn't be, but
It wouldn't.
my question is, could a mobile home serve as an
Serve as an
ADU
ADU?
under
No,
the
no,
ADU?
no.
Needs to be a
Not,
permanent structure.
not the way it is right now.
No, it's gotta be a permanent.
Flatten the tires, it's not going anywhere, right?
Well,
Okay, sorry. That's,
I mean, if you put it on a slab, but then you've got to wire it and plumb it too.
Right,
for it to
it's gotta be
become-
connected
Yeah.
to a septic
It's gotta be
system
connected to a septic.
and electrical.
okay.
Yeah,
Ken,
not
you,
temporary in nature.
you're.
Got it.
Yeah, so this says placed, right? Does placed need a better legal definition? I buy a 40-foot trailer, RV, I park it in my driveway, it's placed there. Is there a definition that placed is connected to electricity, connected to water, connected to sewer? because, all right, buy a Winnebago, I park it in my driveway, well, it's placed there. There's no definition of placed here.
Rob's going to jump on this one.
My non-lawyering is occupancy covers that. It's not occupancy by the owner. It's,
If I
I'm
wanna-
garaging it.
What if I want to sleep in it at night because I've got a cool TV in there, or the bed's more comfortable, or now I want to cook a meal in there because it's got a better convection oven. Now that's a neighbor.
Yeah, how do you govern there? How do you, like,
So we don't agree with the current laws, but where somebody is out citing a person for a zoning violation for something that we think is okay for them to do, that makes no sense to me. Just don't cite them. Don't cite them and then come here and say, well, we're doing this because we cited somebody we didn't really want to cite. This is very ambiguous. So somebody puts an RV or a camper in their driveway, the second they step foot in it and spend an hour inside, because they very well might, somebody could say, oh, they're violating the bylaw.
I think that it's subject to an active building permit is what.
Right, but if you
but
don't have
definitionally,
one,
then you can't do it.
so you're telling people they can't go buy a recreational vehicle and park it on their property.
No, I'm not
You
saying
can
that.
park it on
You
your
can't
property.
occupy it.
Can't occupy permanently. Can your kids sleep there at night?
That's occupying it. Where's the definition of
So,
occupying?
no, it's, well,
There's legalese that's missing here.
yeah, but I don't think it's missing here. I think it's missing somewhere.
Somewhere. Well,
Yeah.
we have no town charter, so there's a lack
Above,
of.
the word
the legalese is
occupancy
missing.
is the issue, and it's not going to be defined here. It's going to be defined somewhere else in the,
I think placed is an issue too, because somebody will say, well, this is parked, it's not placed, not parked. This has wheels. See what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, but, I don't know. But, can you look into the issue of parked and occupied, Rich? Thank you. And I'll make sure someone asks at the public hearing, so you have an answer for you. Just kidding.
Sure. Okay.
And then, has anyone else got any questions on this one besides that? We're not there yet. Article 14, and I'm assuming that's why we've been joined by Ms. Jacobson.
Yes.
Is the redraft of the inclusionary bylaw. Go ahead, folks.
All right. So the proposed redraft of the bylaw brings us back to 10%, which we had in place
Yep.
prior to 21. It doesn't, in contrast, it still stays at 6, which was lowered from 10 to 6, so that number stays the same. It's not adjusting that, but it's a straight 10%. There's not an escalator in terms of the inclusionary number. And there's a little bit of redraft language will come back in the final version. But there's a anti-segmentation provision in the bylaw so that you can't divide your land to go below 6 units.
You can't go
Yeah.
2 5-minute,
You can't do
5-unit
5,
developments,
so
yeah.
that didn't exist before. So that is what's being included in this version. We are changing the payment in lieu to a fixed amount of money, which is $350,000 per dwelling unit. And Sue's here to,
Let
so
him finish.
right now, our last, maybe a couple weeks old, but essentially the median single-family home price in town is $811,000.
Yeah.
3-bedroom affordable unit sells for $318 right now. It changes all the time based on interest rates and some other things. And a 4-bedroom affordable unit sells for $353,000. So to opt out, and many times it's us. I'll give you an example. Off of Medway Street, a development was put in where I believe there were 14 homes, and they had to provide one affordable.
Yep.
So you're putting an affordable family in a 3,500 square foot home because they have to look the same from the outside as one of the homes in the development. You're putting them into a home that they're not going to be able to maintain. And when there's one affordable unit in a development, everybody knows that which house is the affordable unit. There's a stigma there when it's one. So we wanted that developer to make a payment in lieu of providing the affordable unit. And what we did back then was we took the medium sale price for a home in Norfolk minus what an affordable unit would sell for, and the difference was 350?
It was 300.
$300,000. That was back in 2020, 19?
20, yeah, I think it was 19, 18, 19.
So in that time frame, you can see what's happened to the medium. And so we don't want it to be, we want it to be fair to the Affordable Housing Board that's trying to, increase our affordable housing, but we don't want developers to say, that's too much, and I'm going to put that one unit in my development of 10. And Stoneham recently said a payment in lieu of was going to be $450,000, and the developer challenged them in court and won, saying that that was too burdensome for him to buy out at $450,000. So after
Meaning
work.
it wouldn't cost him that to build the unit.
Correct. And at this point, 10 years ago, when we had our first 40B go in Boyd's Crossing, there wasn't a lot of money made on the affordable units, but there was something made, and the developers are held to a 20% profit. Today, I'll use Avery Way, for example. It's an over 55 development. There are 10 affordable units out of the 40, and those units sold, those two-bedroom units sold for $258,000. The developer's not making a penny on those units. So there's a balance, right? If we feel like it's in the affordable buyer's best interest not to go into a subdivision of homes that are selling for over $1 million, and they're the one family that's getting a home for $350,000, that's very unlike our 40B developments, where out of the 40 units, there are 10 affordable homes, and they're mixed throughout the development, and there isn't that, they're the affordable home. So after speaking with council, after speaking with the planning board, after speaking with the Affordable Housing Trust, this was the number that, the number we thought was the highest number we could probably get away with without being challenged in court. And now there is case law that there is a number that was, too high. So we went with a number rather than using the calculation of taking the medium home in price and deducting the affordable unit sale price and having that be the difference.
So it says a minimum of 350. So
Could
what
be
is,
more.
how would, well, that's my follow-up question.
So it could
How does
be-
it become more?
If it's, so if it's 2/10, so, you're supposed to provide 1.2, to get around the 2/10 of the price to prorate it to be more. Somebody could do more. That's kind of tough these days with the cost of housing, but there is, at least, we want to get the rounding piece of it.
Yeah.
And somebody could, the question came up with the select board, it's similar, developers are probably gonna try to put the minimum in.
The second question is, are we going to have to change this law every 3 to 5 years?
We'll have to revisit it,
Yep.
yes. Yes,
Based on home prices.
Right.
yeah.
If the market falls out,
And there's no
Then we wanna go back to the old way.
There's no percentage number that you could use instead.
No, it's kind of hard, it was challenging to index it to something so that it would change over time. Because it could go either way, right? It can go up or down. We just need to be mindful, we do need to, it's not a one and done. We do need to be cognizant of it and look at it. The planning board, to Sue's point, wanted to provide some clarity in terms of what that number would be, because it was
Right.
a changing mathematical formula.
But I guess the reason I asked about the minimum is, right now, does anyone have the capacity to say, we really want 380 from you on this one? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a floor, but
Yeah.
is it also a cap because you have no actual authority to raise it until it's actually raised in the bylaw?
It says a minimum.
That's
They
what I'm
can-
saying, but
They can
what's-
ask for
but
more.
But if there's no process.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So if somebody comes in and we haven't looked at this in 2 years, and we probably should be around 280. I mean, sorry, not
Yeah,
280, 380.
There's no process attached to making it more than the minimum right now, is what I'm asking.
no, it's
Okay.
really something that we're going to have to revisit probably at least every 2 years, if not, if the housing market falls, if the bottom
Well,
of the
that might happen
housing
too.
market, right, then we've got to completely look at this differently, and maybe we go back to the calculation. But when you're calculating the affordable home unit prices, there's multiple factors. Our tax rate fluctuates. That's one of the factors. The HOA fee is one of the factors. If PMI is you know what I mean? There's many
Sure,
different
yeah,
factors.
right.
And the planning board, initially were like, well, we can put the calculation in there. We can show an example, but it's only an example, and it changes as the market changes and as our taxes go up. And so too many things that can change.
But I mean, Dave, I think the minimum language allows them to have a negotiation. It's just like 40B.
If it's a
This
negotiation,
is
but
all a
that's why I asked
negotiation.
about process. If the negotiation is the process, that's fine too, but
Because,
they can come in and say, no, I'm not gonna negotiate, it's 350 or I'm done. Right.
well, no, you can
We
say
can say, then build us the
375.
affordable unit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if,
No,
That may not be what
You
we-
don't wanna do, you don't wanna do that. You
correct,
just
but
said
we can certainly
Right.
pull that card.
And they'd have to do the Stoneham thing and end up in court, which could be just more expensive than giving the extra 15K above
Right.
350.
Right.
At this point, across the state, it hasn't gone up to appellate level yet, so we're still at that level. So we don't want to be the leader necessarily on that, in that front. Because in that case, the Stoneham case, the case was that it was a regulatory taking to require this at all. The statute didn't, when it was written, contemplate the inclusion of affordable housing being part of subdivision of land. There's some analogy in terms of like, the statute also allows for set aside of park space, and towns have had to back off that over the years. So we're trying to be measured on two sides. And the third piece of this, which is important, we want to try to have development that comes under our zoning bylaws and not veer off,
40B.
which is what has happened since '21.
Jonathan?
This isn't directly on this article, but adjacent, so just forgive me for a moment. If we sold $1 million house, a market value, for the $380,000 as an affordable unit, when it comes time for the tax assessment, is it assessed? It's not assessed at the sale price, it's assessed at the market value?
That is incorrect. It
It's
is
assessed at the-
fixed at the sale price.
It is, okay.
For the entire time that it is a deed-restricted property
Okay.
in
Excellent.
perpetuity.
Thank you. That's,
So their taxes will increase if
but
our
at a
tax rate
baseline,
includes, but it is
at the
based on
baseline
the
of what the sale
sale
price is.
Correct.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
So the other question here is the staggered, the tiered schedule was brought before a town meeting within the last 5-6 years.
21.
By a citizen's petition in 21.
Has there been discussions with the citizen who brought it?
There has. The citizen that brought it forward now sits on the Affordable Housing Trust. And
He endorsed this?
he did not. He is the one no of the seven-member, now 6, but it was 7 when we voted it.
Okay.
And we've had great discussion with this individual. So in 2021, when this citizen's petition came forward, we had discussion saying, Rich, as the town planner, said, what I think we're going to do is we're going to push developers into 40B by having it be at 20%, having it staggered. Because once we get to 20%, we're going to push developers into presenting us with 40Bs. But we didn't have any data to back that up, right? That we had a town planner, telling us that that was what he perceived was coming. But we didn't have any actual subdivisions or 40B developments before us that proved that. Today, we have 3.
Yeah.
So the folks that are proposing the 200 apartment complex up by Four Kicks came to us, we met with them, they wanted to do 48 townhouses, but they said if, our zoning had just changed, the inclusionary zoning bylaw they may have came in June, and it changed in May, and we hadn't gotten anything back from the AG's office yet, confirming it could go that way, but they said, is there any way to put it back? Because we cannot make this project work at 48 with having to do 20% affordable. We'll just go 40B and do 25% affordable, and we'll get 4 times the number of units.
Right.
That is exactly what they did. They came back, they have an apartment proposal before us for 200 units, that's a 40B development. Now, we've been working really hard with them, and Rich has done an amazing job. We're
Zoning
trying
at
to get
Springtown
that,
meeting was related
correct,
to that, too.
to try to get them to turn to a MBTA project, which would reduce the number of units there by 60. Because across the street is another project eligibility letter for an additional 59 apartments. We also had a subdivision come in before the board, and they wanted to do 21 single-family homes. They withdrew the project because there was a water situation, without prejudice, so that they could bring it back. They returned to us with they have a project eligibility letter as well from Mass Housing, with 51 3- and 4-bedroom units as a 40B project.
Where's this one?
Up off of Lawrence Street, Cranberry Meadow, Eagle Drive. Because at 20%, if they did 21 units, they had to do 20% affordable housing. Now they're getting 51 units and only have to do 25% affordable housing.
Okay.
So we're seeing exactly what we projected, but now we have data to bring forward and say,
Sure.
this has not been helpful for the community. There are other communities that have this staggered percentage, but they're either 9.5%, 11%. They're beyond their 10%, and
safe.
it's a lot easier to be more selective when you're that close. And they don't have the amount of land that our community has. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. While everybody agrees, and it's my job, that we need affordable housing, we also need projects that work for the community, and they work for the residents that live here. And, you know, the folks up where this potential 200-unit apartment complex and the additional 59, you know, if you think about it, it's going to drastically change the area that they live in. And so we feel strongly this individual does not agree. Like I said, it was a 6-to-1 vote. But we're here because now we have the data that says we think we need to go back, and here's why.
Okay. Ken?
So perhaps dabbling with Lexis AI, which is a legal thing I use for work, it's the 350 question. It's kind of telling me that without setting a maximum or a formula for a maximum, high likelihood that will be upheld in land court, as 350 is a dollar amount. There's no mechanism to impose a maximum where it's just an open-ended thing. So that's just a thought, just some feedback. I don't know what town council said on this, but and then it also seems that there's some wording issues around, can we take the money or force them to build? Because in one paragraph, it says you may consult with to see which one we want, but then the next paragraph down, so there's some, again, it's legalese that's, you know, these are complex things will end up in land court, and it just seems that there needs to be some tightening of the language.
So I would, two things. One, in terms of language, it's kind of a dynamic process. So we don't want to necessarily have language too tight that we can't be responsive to as these projects come in, because we very well might say it's a good project and we would want to include it in there. Conversely, we might not want to see that, as Sue had mentioned, because this is going to be for, which I didn't get to yet. There's also residential rental. There's a buyout provision in here too. So in instances where if it was where we have the mixed-use zoning and stuff, we could see residential that's not just single families. So we may want to have them, you know, produce the unit. So not necessarily buy out of it, but
I just think it needs to be spelled out legally clear. It's a little ambiguous, the bylaw. The bylaw is the law, and if I'm the builder, are you charging me $350? Is it some amount more? Are you telling me I have to build? Where's the authority to tell me one or the other? It talks about you may decide. I think town council might need, I think the language needs to be tightened.
Every project's different. So if there's one unit where we don't think it's in the best interest of an affordable family, then, and 350 makes sense, certainly town council reviews these before they go to before they go into the town warrant. We don't want something kicked back from the AG's office. We have to keep that in mind as well.
Has this been reviewed yet?
I think Rich said at the beginning that there's still going to be some language changes.
Right, so this is a working draft.
Correct.
Yeah, there's some,
I sent you guys a second, I don't know what this one is. This is the one that was, I don't even know.
I'm in the
actually.
one that's like a PDF that we have. I don't, so I
So
don't
we
know.
got sent,
I
Michael
probably,
sent us the one that he got back from council today or yesterday, which I forwarded these folks. That's what I'm looking at.
oh, all right.
But,
I'm looking at the one
but-
from last week, yeah.
and I sent another one, which was the original version. And I also got the sense from Michael's email that they're not done, council's not done reviewing it, Ken, so.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, so I can't,
Maybe not this one particular, but they're not done with the warrant. so-
Correct.
Right.
not done with the warrant. So the changes that are proposed by council in this previous revision, the planning board hasn't even seen it yet, so they'll be seeing it on October 14th.
Okay.
So it's possible you had the first one that came in, and there was some adjustments, but I don't think those proposed changes don't really affect what what you're suggesting about limiting the options, I guess I would say.
David, could I throw a couple of table setting questions out there?
Sure.
For the 10 millionth time, Sue, can you please tell us where we are with our SHI right now as a town?
Sure. So first, I'll say that our SHI number is fluid.
Always.
We are somewhere right now at 4 point, we submitted everything at the end of this year. And for those folks that are new to this, what happens when a 40B project comes in to the town, the date that it's stamped in the town clerk's office, if it has 10 affordable units in it, and there are 40 units total, all of the units, and rentals all count. In residential, only the affordable units count. But the minute Carol Green's office stamps it, those 10 units go on to our subsidized housing inventory. And our number, if we're at 4.8, might jump to 5. But if those units are not occupied and don't have certificate of occupancies, they fall off of the SHI. We know that a new subdivision takes significantly longer than a year. So they go on, they fall off. Every year, I work with Rich, and we figure out what units are occupied. We send in the certificates of occupancy. They get put back onto our subsidized housing list. So it's a very fluid number. We fluctuate anywhere from 4.7 to 5, depending upon what units have come on and what units are coming off. So, for example, if these apartments are built as 200 apartments, the date that the permit's stamped, we will be at 10%. But that project will be a 3 to 5 year project, they're predicting. So we will lose all 200 of those units after a year, and we will be below 10%. By the time that's built out, it will be beyond 2030, and we will have a new census number that we will try to reach. So it's a very tricky number to package.
And these are, in terms of.
By the way, just to back up.
Yeah.
For the audience, SHI, Safe Harbor.
Subsidized housing inventory.
Subsidized
Sorry.
housing inventory.
Sorry.
So,
Try to stay
I
away from
jumped to
safe
Safe
harbor.
Harbor automatically,
right,
so.
right. So safe harbor is if we
Right,
produce 16 affordable units in a year,
Right.
we get 1 year of safe harbor. If we produce 32 units, we get 2 years of safe harbor. But the interesting part of that is, if we enter into safe harbor, say June 1st with 16 units, and in December, we get 16 more units, it's backdated to June 1st. That's when our 2 years starts. The state does not make it easy.
No, I was about to say, no,
Yes.
never mind. I was going to say that 1 year thing is stupid. Because nobody builds a development in a year. Nobody builds a development in a year.
It's
From the day
impossible.
they file it, to the day it gets built.
The
and
intent is to
occupied.
change strategy, to be able to have different safe harbors go one after the other, to give you the ability to be more selective about what projects come in town. But let me bridge together my table
Sure,
setting
yep,
questions first.
sorry.
Rich,
Yeah.
you said before we have 3 40B projects at varying stages of the comprehensive permit process currently before the town. Can you tell us how many market rate units versus how many affordable units are part of those 3 projects?
Okay, so none of them have officially been filed, just to clarify.
Okay.
We
They
have-
only have project eligibility
eligibility,
letters
got
from
it.
Mass Housing.
Okay.
So it's 53.
59.
No, the
Oh,
one that-
51.
50, I thought it was 53.
It's 51, I think.
51. 25% of those, can do the math.
Yep.
Because that's ownership.
Mhm.
The 59 units, which is in Palmville, still 25% affordable, but the rest are market rate, which we would be able to count all those in total in
Yep.
terms of 40B. And then Palmville Crossing, which Sue mentioned, which is 200 units, 25% affordable. The balance is market rate, but it's a total of 200 units. So those are all there, sitting with project eligibility letters. As we did talk about, we did enact extension of the MBTA district in the Palmville area. I think we have a much better shot now to actually keep it in that MBTA track, which would be 140 units, not 200. But we really had to be significantly creative in dealing with the wastewater issues.
The performance says they need to do on-site, got it.
Yeah, so that was the thing. So, and I would say that this bylaw is based, and some other bylaws, that there's options. There's a menu of options and not one size fits all. Back when I wasn't here, but you did Fox Run, you had off-site units that were done.
Right.
So that may be something that, so I mean, you could tighten it, and then sometimes you could be so tight, you shut yourself opportunities to do some creative things that you might want to do, so.
Thanks. Last one, unless this is pertinent. How many more traditional site plan review subdivision projects are currently before the planning board?
0.
Gotcha. Okay, so I just wanted to get that all out there so we could kind of give a lay of the land of where we are in terms of growth in town right now. The growth in our town is being forced into 40B development, which is not what we want. It can be beneficial if we're able to pull the right triggers and work the right measures to be able to have it work. But from our perspective, or from the town's perspective, it seems as though the way that original citizens petition was intended to hold developers more accountable to actually produce the units they were intending to produce from an affordable standpoint never came to fruition, right? So that's why they're going through these motions to be able to bring us back to a point where we're not forcing developers into 40B and then losing some of the leverage the town has to be able to own its own growth. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Fox Run, which one's that?
It runs from Rentham to Norfolk off of Maple,
Yeah,
up in
okay,
that
yep,
neck of the
all right.
woods.
And the off-site ones are the ones on Boardman and
So there are
Finch.
some on Boardman, some on Medway, some on Mirror Lake. They're spread out.
I didn't, yeah, okay. Does anyone else have any questions on this one? All right. There is one more, I went through it. You changed the name of DHCD to EOLA.
Yeah, we did.
EOHL, but there is this change from as an integral element to a condition. Is that just cleaning it up? I don't even know what an integral element would be, Rich. So it must be, I'm hoping that's a legal sort of like,
Yeah. What? Integral?
is there a reason behind besides making it clear what that is? I don't even
I
know what
guess I would
an
defer to
integral
town
element
council,
of a
I think.
development approval would be, so.
Integral?
A condition. I know what that means. I just,
Sounds good, though.
why was it, it's a stupid word. It's a stupid phrase to be
There
in.
are elements that are considered to be integral as part of the special permit process. They're all conditions, right? I
That's
think
what
it's
I'm
just
saying. That's
getting
what I'm
everything into one
saying.
definition.
I'm just curious. Was there a
I
problem with
don't
that?
think I
or-
can claim authorship of that
Okay.
word. I'd have to
Just
speak to
standardizing
council.
No, yeah, I know. I know that a condition is a far more
Yeah.
understandable term. I just was wondering if there was an issue with
Someone got tired of pronouncing
integral. Integers?
integral.
An integer element?
Integral, maybe?
All right,
So
thank you.
so it's October 14th.
Yep. You'll be
and
back on the
then,
15th to
back
tell us
on
how
the
everything went?
15th.
Okay.
Well, so the chair would have been here, but he's ill.
No,
So,
fair enough, yeah.
It might not, I have the ZBA the same evening, so it'll probably be the chair.
Okay. That's fine. That's Gary?
Chris.
Chris Montfort.
Chris Montfort.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought it was Gary. Never mind.
Gary Sullivan is the vice chair.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I do
Appreciate
have
it.
some questions I needed to respond back to on, so.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sue.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
I think we have one more order of business, which is minutes, but I do want people to look at the schedule of the Citizens Academy, and the minutes from 2 meetings ago has the paragraph that just says what people are covering. If they can't cover the meeting they want, just alert us or whatever, and someone else can volunteer or whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you. There is one tomorrow, which you're going to?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Do we have minutes to approve, Melissa?
Yeah, I had circulated them, so we should be able to vote tonight. So I make a motion to approve the minutes from our September 24th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Excellent.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.
Okay.
You get to second and vote? or-
We're seconding and voting, yes. Second and voted, yes, thank you. We're all set.